We got Gators Breakdown here. We know we're business.
Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC, and back from vacation. A commitment to talk about that happens the day I get back, and we'll look back at another that happened while I was on vacation. We know how those go. I'm on vacation. Florida gets commits now. Admittedly, I take the vacations around June, so it's gonna happen. I mean, school gets out, so family vacations happen. This one was just me and my wife, but still, we got the family vacations coming up, so maybe more down the road. But some on this one, of course. Taking them in June. We're going to get commitments in June. It just times out. It just times out. But hey, whatever keeps it fun. But I know a lot of people link the vacations to commits. But Florida did get 2 commits while I'm on vacation. So hey, yeah, I'll take some credit, even though none is really worth giving. But it's fun anyway. So yeah, a lot to talk about. Joshua Moore, of course, the wide receiver, committing here today on this Wednesday to the Gators, 4-star wide receiver, and then 3-star tight end Micah Jones last week. I'll get into that just a bit too. But we'll also take a look at the skill players. I mean, wide receiver and tight end commitments right here for the Gators class of 2025. So lots to get into on the offensive side of the ball, these skill players in particular. So, all right, hit that like button, subscribe right here on Gators Breakdown if you haven't done so yet. Those likes right here on YouTube go a long way in really helping us out. And subbing right here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. I think for a lot of the support lately out there, you guys have shown for Gators Breakdown. It means a whole lot. But you can catch even more right there, Gators Breakdown Plus as well. Get those ad-free episodes of Gators Breakdown. The Discord chats will be back from vacation, so I'll be ramping those up. I'll be probably doing one soon, probably one next week if you want to take part in those. Click right there in the link to join Gators Breakdown Plus. But as I said, ad-free episodes. Those chats turn into extra episodes for especially during the football season for you guys. Got to do a Q&A coming up as well. But all those good things right there at Gators Breakdown Plus. And also, hey, we're about 2 months away from kickoff. Get your Beat Miami Gators Breakdown shirt right there at gatorsbreakdownmerch.com. Some other new designs out there as well. gatorsbreakdownmerch.com. Another way you can support Gators Breakdown. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. You know how we do it. Hey, we got to commit. This time it is on the offensive side of the football, and it is wide receiver Joshua Moore, the 4-star from down South Florida, commits to the Gators over rival FSU and Miami. So a nice win over the in-state rivals right here for the Gators. From Pembroke Pines, playing at West Broward down in South Florida. And look, fits the one angle that when we started looking at this class that we've been keeping an eye on for this wide receiver group, and that is he brings size to the position. Measuring in 6'4", weighing 205 pounds. Moore ranks in the top 200 in the major recruiting services. The 24/7 Sports Composite ranks Moore as the 196th overall player in the country and the 25th wide receiver, while the On3 industry ranking is about the same, ranking Moore 1 spot lower as the 197th overall player, but 1 spot higher as the 24th wide receiver. So a top 200 overall player right here by both the major recruiting services, 24/7 Sports and On3. In 2023, this past season, finished his junior campaign with 50 catches for 835 yards and 9 touchdowns, according to Max Preps. West Broward made the Florida's 4M playoffs. And in 2022, his sophomore season, he broke out, hauling in 50 passes for 1,034 yards and 11 touchdowns. So we know right here, as we've been discussing, the Gators, they're looking at signing 4 wide receivers in this class of 2025. And Moore is the first to hop on board at this spot. Mentioned his size, 6'4", 205 pounds. He's exactly, the frame and fit the Gators wanted to add in this room as an X receiver. Getting some size was important for the staff in this class. We've seen what they have done at the kind of at receiver the last couple of cycles for Billy Napier and staff. Needed to get some size, got it right here. But Moore said, look, this decision was made last week. And look, this was a great job by the Florida staff on this one. Billy Napier, Billy Gonzalez, really should not overlook David Decker as well. He really put Gonzalez to work to show him how he was going to be used in this offense. And look, this was one recruitment that was not looking so likely for Florida heading into summer visits. Moore was ready to commit to Georgia earlier this year before Brian McClendon left the Bulldog staff. So that opened up this recruitment a bit ahead of all the official visits that were coming up this summer. So Moore visited Florida that first official visit weekend in late May, early June. The Gators knocked it out of the park, as the other visits to Miami and Florida State afterwards just didn't match up to what he received in Gainesville. So perhaps the main pull, and something we wish we had probably seen a little more last year, but we're hearing it more this cycle, is the opportunity to play with DJ Lagway. So that was apparent after the official visit and still today. Moore probably wouldn't be committing to Florida if DJ Lagway was not on the roster. So, hey, let's pull up some highlights right here and get this thing going and see what kind of player Joshua Moore is. And let's see. I mean, like as I said, the big body, going to love that. Let's get it going. But Florida's been, of course, as I mentioned, successful in recruiting that smaller slot top wide receiver in recent classes, but it was time to get this larger player, bigger body player, more moves well for his size, displaying that kind of rare ability to shift his weight, change direction during his routes. Also boasts, the wingspan, his reach, you'll see here in the highlights, uses that frame, uses that big body like he should. So, here you go, catching the ball deep down the field here, catch and run ability. His junior season showcases, this high-level catches, demonstrating, of course, the coordination it takes, the ball skills, adjusting to the ball in the air. Of course, this ad for Florida gives the Gators an outside target that can make plays in all aspects, from winning at the catch point to making plays and run after the catch. You see it all here. And this is a sophomore film highlight, so had trouble finding his junior film. He did play a little injured in his junior season, I believe. So that's why another reason the sophomore stats and film here. But there he goes. Just snatches the ball out of the air, makes a play going to the end zone. And 24/7 Sports' Andrew Ivins offers, quote, an eye-catching outside receiver prospect with ready-to-go size that can be a reliable winner on the back shoulder throws. Measured just under 6'4", 205-pound spring before senior season, and should only continue to undergo a physical maturation. Attacks leverage with a galloping stride and will sink his hips before changing course. Charges towards the football, will use firm hands to secure the prize while boxing out defenders. More of a one-speed route runner at this stage that has to capitalize on his release, as a lack of true top-end gear can make it difficult at times for him to create separation at both the intermediate and deeper levels. Dealt with an injury as an 11th grader, but still has put up big numbers while playing for one of South Florida's non-traditional powers. 1,869 career receiving yards, 20 touchdowns in 21 varsity games. Should be viewed as a prototypical X in a modern pro-style attack that can thrive in 50-50 situations out on the perimeter with his build and ball skills. That comes from Andrew Ivins of 24/7 Sports. So absolutely, you see the big body. Yeah, this was highlights 2 seasons ago that you're seeing here. But there he goes, catch up. This was what we're talking about. The 50-50 balls in the end zone here is certainly an option Florida can use. But here he is now over the middle, still makes a play happen. Thought he probably could have been taking a hit right there in the middle of the field. It doesn't matter. He makes the catch anyway, off to the races, scores a touchdown right there. So Joshua Moore, certainly good addition to the Gators, and certainly, I think, really needed, distressed early on in this cycle. I love what Florida has done by getting faster in the receiver room, by getting the types that can make you miss after the catch. That's what they're known for. But he needed to get back into getting the bigger bodies on the field. Here you know, and he's at his size still returning punts right here and making something happening. So certainly a do-it-all player at the varsity level. Don't necessarily maybe see him doing that at the college level, but of course, nice to show that ability at the high school level. We'll show it one more highlight right here. Watch them, I don't remember but here you go. This is a catch and run screen, a little tone screen right there. So being able to do it all right here is Joshua Moore, and a good pickup for the Gators. So of course, Moore is the seventh commit in the class of 2025 to go along with edge Jalen Wiggins, running back Waltez Clark, defensive lineman Jeremiah McLeod, tight end Micah Jones, running back Chad Gasper, and punter Hayden Craig. And the Gators now ranked 67th overall, the 24/7 sports team rankings. Of course, with more decisions in the coming days and coming weeks. So I mentioned, of course, getting a wide receiver commit here. That's one skill player there for the Gators. But let's take a look at some of the other skill positions. Let's take a deeper look at the skill positions with this class for the, with Florida having 2 running back commits, Moore being the first wide receiver, and Micah Jones at tight end. The rest of the skill player class just might be becoming a little bit clearer. So let's stay with wide receiver. And the big one we're all waiting for, and that is, of course, Ronell Brown III. That one is looking better and better for the Gators, it seems, after all these visits have taken place. It does seem like the Ohio State angle is all but gone, and it has turned into another in-state battle, mainly between Florida and Florida State. Miami in there too, but it looks like this is mainly a Florida State battle right now, with the Gators trending pretty heavy. Brown, of course, a newly minted 5-star. I don't know if you saw this now. Newly minted 5-star on the On3 rankings with a July decision on the horizon. Brown, of course, difference maker at the wide receiver spot, should be an instant contributor the moment he steps on campus. And that doesn't matter where he goes, especially for Florida, but he can go to Ohio State. He's an instant contributor. He can go to FSU. He's an instant contributor. That is the type of player he is. Hopefully, the legacy is making those plays in orange and blue. Looks good at the moment. Of course, he's got to be the top target right now overall, not just a skill player, not just an offensive player, the top target overall for the Gators. Staying with wide receiver, of course, just got that commitment from Joshua Moore, and he's saying he's working on fellow wide receiver from South Florida, Nashawn Montgomery. Another South Florida product from Miami Central, likely Florida Penn State battle with the Gators trending in that one too right now. The top 200-ish 4-stars coveted by Penn State, but they may be in wait-and-see mode with other targets at the spot. So Montgomery is also enamored with the possibility of playing with DJ Lagway and being another option at the X spot for the Gators, but also being sold that he can play on the inside, the outside, and in the backfield. 6'1", 165-pounder visited that first official visit weekend as well, and had the Gators at the top then. Looks to be the same now through visits to Penn State and LSU. So, if you come back and look at it, that first official visit weekend, basically who we've talked about so far, and besides Brown, but who we've talked about so far as commitments go, who we were talking about coming up as well, that first official visit weekend, we're going to be going back to a good bit. One more at the wide receiver spot that's a little harder to get a read on, and that is IMG's Donovan Oligbode. Florida's battling Mizzou and USC here. Keeps things pretty close to the vest. Doesn't give away a whole lot, but the Gators are in this one. 4-star has taken many trips to Gainesville, and maybe it plays out in the end. Maybe that's a difference maker, but hard to say right now. And especially hard to say Florida leads in this one, but seems to be in a good spot. So we'll see where that one ends up. Kobe Howard out of Hollywood, Florida. Let's go back to him. He was on commit watch earlier in the spring, but the Gators were holding off at the moment. Will that ruin Florida's chances in the end if they come back around? Ole Miss might be the team to watch now. So Kobe Howard, he's another one to look out for. Looks like CJ Ingram might just concentrate on basketball. Not sure a final decision has been made there. There was some talk before I went on vacation, and certainly haven't had time to follow up yet, but I know that has been some of the talk that he may just concentrate on basketball. So overall, that one may be trending away, just not going anywhere else, but just because he might be going to play for Todd Golden, getting a scholarship there for the basketball team. Remember, let's go back a couple weeks. We were discussing 5-star Caleb Cunningham and all the visit highs that he was coming off of. First Auburn, then Florida. Now it looks like Alabama's trending for the state of Mississippi product at the wide receiver spot. The in-state schools in Mississippi are still in play too. Hard seeing this one going Florida's way at the moment. Other 5 stars, Jamie French out of Jacksonville and Dallas Wilson out of Tampa, they seem like long shots at the moment too. Hard to see those turning around for Florida at the moment. So, if Florida wants the 4, we talk about 4 receivers in this class, the most likely outcome would be the newly committed Joshua Moore, Ronell Brown III, Nashawn Montgomery, and maybe Oleg Bode or Kobe Howard. So there's 5 names for the 4 spots as it looks right now. Late June, heading into July, visits have happened. It's the way it looks right now at the skill spot of the wide receiver. So keep it going. I mean, look, Florida's done it running back, got 2 running backs already, but one more skilled player to keep an eye on as we move to tight end will be Jacksonville's Tayshawn Gelsey. We got to bring him up because, the wide receiver that would be turning tight end makes his decision this coming Saturday with the Gators as heavy favorites to land his pledge. Russ Callaway, wide receiver coach Chad Lucas playing major roles here. The 3-star will decide between Florida, Auburn, Kentucky, UCF, Wake Forest, and Tulane, with the Gators and Green Wave separated from the others. Gelsey officially visited in that late May, early June official visit weekend. And he's really an intriguing option at the tight end spot with that 6'4" frame, 210 pounds, playing wide receiver so far in high school and just showing pure mismatch potential. Would be a good fit right there for the Gators at the tight end spot. So that's it for potential skill players for now. We'll see if it gets any more clear as we go through the summer months here. But, since I was on vacation, we got to go back a little bit because, as I mentioned, got another commit as I was going. And the first vacation commit of, tight end Micah Jones. That was last Friday. And another big body pickup here, of course, at the tight end spot. Jones, 3-star tight end, hails from the state of Mississippi, coming in at 6'4", 250 pounds. On 3 industry rankings, has Jones ranked 514th overall and the 29th tight end, while the 24/7 Sports Composite ranks him as the 561st overall player in the 28th tight end. He was another visitor on that May 31st through June 2nd weekend, and just likes the trajectory of the Florida program. And pull up some highlights for him if you're watching the YouTube version. But certainly, big-time option here at the Gators, for the Gators. Well, where did that there we go. Got it now. I have to back that up a little bit. There we go. Got those highlights ready to go. Man, I'm struggling here. I guess I'm having trouble catching up from vacation a little bit. But here we go. He's quite a reliable receiver at the tight end spot. Even when he's in traffic, he's got a knack for catching balls thrown his way. Of course, not the fastest guy out there, but he knows how to keep moving. Always aware of where the first down marker is. Love that in the tight end. Plus, big time finding those gaps in his own defense. So, a little bit of that takes some skill, especially at the high school level as well. In terms of size, Jones, college ready, nearly 6'5", 250 pounds. As you said, catch and run ability here. I know if I'm a DB at 6'5", 250 pounds, that's coming towards me. I'm not so sure I want to make that tackle. An impressive build here. So his long arms, potential to add more weight or a bonus. Might need to get a bit stronger. We'll see. But Jones is the kind of throwback tight end in this traditional style of play at the tight end spot. Not afraid to block. Really goes for it at the point of attack. Won't let up until his opponent's down. Controlled in his play. But could maybe improve a little bit on driving defenders out of the play. But his technique's pretty solid. A lot to work with Billy Napier, Russ Callaway at the tight end spot here. So I think what you got to, if you're watching these highlights, that great ability of acting as a blocker first, acting as a blocker early in the play, then kind of sneaking out a little bit, releasing downfield as a receiver, often manages slip pass, gets unnoticed, making him even bigger, a big play threat, catch after a run ability. So pretty good safety valve as well as you watch these highlights there for Micah Jones. So can work on some things. As I said, maybe some route running a little bit while he's good at finding the openings. Maybe some sharper cuts in his routes. Big guy with a lot of momentum when he's going downhill. We'll see, what would a college weight room do for him, being able to use that speed, better route running, a little more fluid. But, at Florida, you can see how this would benefit Florida, how this would play out. A nice get at the tight end spot, especially with getting Amaris Jackson last cycle, and possibly we just talked about Gelsey this cycle. That would give Florida similar combos to what they currently have, with Arlis Boardingham as more of that pass catching receiver style of tight end, and then the blocking first style of tight end, making the occasional catch like Hayden Hansen does. So keeping with that two combo set when two tight ends are out there, you got the best of both worlds out there. One of the pass catching ability, one of the blocking ability with the occasional pass. So I like to pick up here, and it looks like Florida could be done with tight end just in a few days here. With Gelsey coming up, about a week away. You had Micah Jones last Friday, and then about a week later, as this coming up Saturday, Gelsey's making his decision, and Florida could have their two tight ends in the class of 2025. So, all right. Not too long of an episode here. Didn't have much time to prep for this one, of course. Rolled in about 3 hours ago from vacation. Should have rolled in yesterday, but the flight got delayed in the Bahamas. Wasn't even able to enjoy that because we didn't get to the hotel till like 10 o'clock after the flight got delayed, and finally canceled. Didn't make it to the hotel they gave us till like 10 o'clock at night. So kind of wore out, really tired. Not a lot of sleep the last couple of days. So, hey, I'm not really, that's first world problems, right? It's hard to complain about, flights on when you're coming back from vacation. Was it unfortunate? Was it inconvenient? Sure. But wouldn't erase the time that I had right before that, and perspective yes, that's an issue in life, not much of a major issue. So back, ready to go, recruiting. Got preseason magazines to talk about in the next couple of weeks right here on Gators Breakdown. And video game coming out soon as well. I know we're all excited for that. Well, not all, but I know a lot of us are excited for that. So a lot of good things coming up right here. Hey, if you want to keep that conversation going one more time, join Gators Breakdown Plus. Link is in the description. But a lot of good time right here on this episode talking about the recent commitments of Joshua Moore and Micah Jones. Hopefully another one coming up in a few days with Tayshawn Gelsey. All right. That'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. I am your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this episode of Gators Breakdown.